Hello everyone, my name is Jay Santiago, and today I will be introducing myself to the classroom. I really hope for this class I get to meet you guys in like this academic level, and I just feel like it's really interesting to discuss things on a forum and like collaborate like one-on-one for this kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to meeting every one of you. With my biography, I come from a family of six. I have one older brother and two younger brothers. My I have a mom and dad, Nancy and Angel respectively. My dad is an inspector general in Fort Wayne, Alaska, and my mom is currently a lead financial advisor. So I'm a psych major with a minor in anthropology. Um, yeah, like I really enjoy psychology. I really enjoy the behavioral and like perceptual aspect of it. But I also dabble a lot in specifically cultural anthropology. That's my favorite. Um, I'm also a senior here at UAF, and I'm posed to graduate next spring if everything goes well. So I'm really looking forward to that. So some of my interests and hobbies, I enjoy longboarding. Specifically, I enjoy going down hills, and one of my dreams actually is to compete like speed competitions. Honestly, going down hills at a professional level, even though it's dangerous, I don't really care. It's super fun. Gets the adrenaline going and whatnot. I do a lot of gaming actually. Matter of fact, I'm the president of the UAF Esports Gaming Club. We host multiple events from charity streaming to video game tournaments. It's a pretty fulfilling yet mildly stressful project. But honestly, it's worth it to just kind of see everybody come together and play games and just foster that sense of community. To me, is probably the most important aspect. With music, I try to go to as many concerts as possible, and I dabble a little bit in producing music as well. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm good at it by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good way to pass the time. Like I said earlier, since I'm a senior, I'll be posed up to go to graduate school later on in my academic career, and really I enjoy behavioral neuroscience and cognitive psychology. So specifically with a behavioral neuroscience, I just enjoy like understanding things on a neurological foundation and like trying to see what connections mean sodium channels and just like how we perceive the world on a biological level within the realm of psychology is probably one of the coolest things, at least in my opinion, for graduate school. And I also have some academic interest in cultural anthropology as well, specifically shamanism. I enjoy just having discussions about spirituality and like these ritualistic practices that like these shamans do in order to like incorporate and fulfill that sense of spirituality within themselves and the community. It's super interesting. I mean, I did a study on a vampiric shamanism in southern Russia. At least that's an ethnography that I read, and that just got me so hooked. And I have a couple of pictures of just like the hobbies that I showed you earlier. So on the top left, that's the banner that's actually hanging up in the Wood Center right now for the Esports Gaming Club. I think it looks pretty snazzy. On the bottom, that's actually my board design exactly, and the same thing for those slide gloves. So essentially, when you're going downhill on the board, you try to get your board a little bit past perpendicular on the hill, so you can like reduce your speed. And you also put those gloves. You see that puck thing on the glove. So you put that on the ground, and you use that to increase traction and hopefully reduce the speed and time before you hit a curve or something. On the top right, that's a program called Fruity Loop Studio, and that's what I use to kind of like make beats. Nothing nearly as complicated as a picture would indicate, but I mean, it's a good hobby to just pass by the time. And then on the bottom, that's one of my favorite games of all time, or at least of right now, Soul Calibur 5. I play a mean Siegfried, and I hope anybody here would be willing to challenge me. That'd be pretty cool. And finally, I would like to discuss the Clifford article and the question that accompanies it. What roles, if any, should anthropology play in native cultures of Alaska? Well, I've come to three three different conclusions. So the first one, establish effective communication between communities and the researcher. So essentially this means just setting up negotiations, setting up boundaries for research, just to kind of like ease off this whole like post-colonial mindset in which the researcher is creating this barrier between us versus them, while generally the intention is just to foster that just the exchange of knowledge. That's essentially what it is. But through the past and through like colonial efforts and just through this huge miscommunication and this like ethnocentric approach to research and the perception of the research just left a bad taste in a lot of cultures' mouths. And I just hope that eventually, like through like more education, more communication, just like being at those sites firsthand, communicating with the people on like a fundamentally like just optimistic, friendly level would just help kind of like ease tension and just introduce more of the culture into everyday life, honestly. Um, the second bullet point, broaden perspectives about native culture. So I think a lot of people in Alaska have this like very basic understanding of native culture, and I feel like well, this article would be the most important segue to jump right into just exploring what these cultures mean, just break these preconceptions of what you have about some certain native culture and just really dive right in. And for the third one, understand how the history of previous interactions dictate how procedures are done today. So, like I said earlier, like colonialism left a poor taste in everybody's mouths, and because of that, it's just there's like a little bit of like rough hostility there. I mean, researchers are just trying at this point, at least what I got from the Clifford article, like before they feel like these negotiations and these talks with the native people to term to like maybe like access like dig sites or just like gather data, it's very difficult for them to like reach a ground like a middle ground just because they they're having just a hard time exercising their freedom of research, but at the same time, there also be some limitations in terms of how can you conduct the research that's in a respectful manner and can still contain a wealth of knowledge. And I think all of these combined are just essentially highlight throughout the entire piece. And on a more general level, I would say like with these three bullet points, just kind of like moving forward are the essential foundations for trying to just like develop this sort of intellectual community with both the native culture and the researchers and us, the students even. It just helps us enrich the knowledge, and we can just on a more and we can all be on more friendlier terms, and we can just exchange this knowledge, and we can adapt, overcome obstacles, and just become better people, honestly, on just like that fundamentally ethical level. So yeah, that's it for me today. I really hope that I can read your guys' discussion soon. I can post comments, and feel free to post on here if you want to talk more about anything. I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys. See you guys later.